Data tracking tools have become a pretty large thing in the sports card world. Whether it be market movers, card ladder, card hedge, or whatever else, there's definitely been a lot of efforts made to capture sales data on sports card sales. And it makes sense in some ways. I mean, from an investment flipping kind of angle, having a better read on the market for a specific card can potentially help you to make better decisions. In this video, I wanted to do an unbiased comparison of the different data tools just to get a sense for what some of the advantages and disadvantages are for each of them. Now, before I get started, I should just say that I have actually never had a paid subscription to any of these tools. I'm not an expert in any of these tools. I've used some of the free features of Market Movers and Card Ladder at times, but that's really about it. I am, however, considering the possibility of perhaps subscribing to one of them at some point here. So this video is more from the angle of an open exploration and to reflect on whether one of them may be something I myself would consider spending money on, or not. Let's find out. To start this exploration, let's first reflect on a few overarching things, advantages and disadvantages that from my perspective are relevant to all three of these. Advantage all. Charts, graphs, searchable data features all make the data pretty easy to analyze. Disadvantage all. If you really only need data from the last couple of months, 130point.com for free can give you a quick glance at that. It may not have the charts and graphs, but it gives you a lot of data for free. Advantage all. These paid subscriptions all track data further back in time than you can get for free, so you can get a better read on the historical movement of specific cards. Disadvantage all. In a reality where shill bidding and market manipulation are really commonplace, relying too heavily on information that very likely is sprinkled with corrupted data isn't good for anybody except those trying to cheat the system. All three of these tools do make efforts to filter out shilled auctions and such, at least so they say, but it's nearly impossible to do that with 100% success. If data takes the place of critical thinking, corrupted data and its ripple effects across many other cards can influence the market in major ways. So if you use a data tool, remember it's just a tool for reflection. It's not telling you the absolute reality of things. Disadvantage all. When it comes to using data tools, the tools all assume all grades of the same grade are equal. For most modern and ultra-modern cards, that's usually the case. A PSA 10 is a PSA 10, a BGS 9.5 is a BGS 9.5. But with vintage cards, oftentimes the value is not only dependent on the grade. A really well-centered SGC 5 will oftentimes go for much higher than a less well-centered SGC 5. The visual appeal makes a massive difference. These data tools don't help with this at all. Disadvantage all. People can become too reliant on data tools if it becomes something that is used too often. If the tools are used as an occasional tool, I think there's no problem with it, but overuse of it I don't think is a good thing, and it's almost training you to not be able to read the market with your own critical thinking if it's overused too much. Disadvantage all. It needs a constant internet connection or data usage to be used. Alright, now let's start to look at some of the different features about each of these different three options and get a sense for what some of the advantages and disadvantages are for each. Let's start with the cost. Market Movers has three different price tiers as of August 2022 when I'm making this video. The cheapest option is $100 per year, which comes out to about $8.33 per month if you do the annual subscription. If you do it month by month, it's $10 a month. And then the highest tier is much more expensive at $500 per year, which comes out to about $42 per month. Or that one is $50 per month if you just do a month-by-month subscription. So basically the annual subscription gives you 2 months free, essentially is how that works out. The lowest price tier definitely has its limitations. You can check charts on card prices, but you can only see price movements in the last 30 days, which is what you get for free on the app anyways. So in some ways it's hard for me to see what the advantages are of using the cheapest package option when they seem so close to the free stuff. Market Movers is also meant to be a tool to track your own collection, but with the starter package, it only does that with 10 cards, so really that even is kind of worthless. I mean, I could track my own 10 cards in a couple of minutes. There are some small other things available with the starter package, but to me, it doesn't seem much more than what you get by just using the free features on the app, so I personally don't really see any reason why you'd go for the starter package. Maybe I'm missing something, maybe I don't know, I mean, I totally could be. And if I am, please do let me know in the comments below, but from what I'm seeing, it seems pointless. The mid-range package, called the premium package, is the second of the three tiers, and it's definitely a steeper step up in terms of price and has a few additional features. You can track price movements for the last 90 days instead of 30 that the starter package offers, so it's a bit better in that regard. Seeing price movements during a 3-month period is definitely better than seeing them during a 1-month period. You also have access to some additional tools that help you to compare price ratios to find some potential good plays, and you also have access to more indexes that can help you see wider trends, plus you can also track sealed wax more effectively. And then the highest price tier is very expensive at $500 per year, but it also has a lot more features. You have access to 365 days of price movements, which can give you a better sense of what's been going on. You can track your own personal collection with an unlimited number of cards in sealed wax, which is a big deal. You can set unlimited alerts to be notified when any card you want has gone down or up to some specific price that you've set to give you notifications about. And you get access to something called the Market Movers Intelligence Reports, which I actually know absolutely nothing about and sounds a little sketchy actually, if I'm being completely honest, but you get that also. Okay, now how about the costs of Card Ladder? Like Market Movers, Card Ladder has also some free features available for basic searches of card values. Card Ladder gives you 90 days of data for free compared to Market Movers only providing 30 days worth of data on cards in their database. So that definitely seems like an advantage for Card Ladder as far as the free realm. For their paid subscription, they have just one price point, which is $15 per month, which comes out to $180 per year. So that comes out in price about halfway between the Market Movers starter tier and premium tier. It gives access to historical sales data from many years back, which definitely seems like an advantage for them too. But this will in many ways depend on how full their database really is. I mean, really long historical data, but only a small number of cards that I want to be tracking and actually paying attention to makes these seeming advantages I'm saying here so far a bit less important. But we'll look at that a little bit later when we get into how many cards are actually being tracked in each of these databases, which is going to be an important part of this video and this reflection. The paid Card Ladder subscription also allows you to track the movement of your own personal collection, which is really nice, and something that's really only available with Market Movers in any real useful way if you're getting that highest, significantly more expensive price point tier. Okay, now how about Card Hedge? Now, Card Hedge is definitely newer in the data tool game, though I have heard some good things about them here and there. Their monthly subscription price is the same as Card Ladder at $15 per month, though you do get 2 free months if you do an annual subscription. You can also track your own collection with them, like you can with Card Ladder and with the Market Movers most expensive tier. I haven't really had the chance to look around too much at what kinds of things they have, but I have seen some other YouTubers using it a couple of times, so the data seems pretty well organized and searchable and such. Okay, so maybe that's a good segue onto the next topic, which is about the features available in each of these data tools. Now, I don't know if you're the same as me, but for me, I feel I'm a little bit more familiar with Market Movers tools for organizing data based on different user criteria and such, just because I've seen a lot of sports card YouTube channels who've done that. From a data features and searchable kind of filters side, it does seem like Market Movers has a lot of ways you can search through the data, which I think is extremely important as it allows you to use your own critical thinking skills to consider what may be some different ways to identify good potential plays in the market. You can do different kinds of comparisons and different kinds of filters that I think allows for quite a bit of customization, which I really do like. However, I don't think most of those kinds of features are available until at least the second price tier, which even just that one is already more expensive than Card Ladder or Card Hedge. And really, I kind of mentioned this before, but the more and more I think about it, it seems to me like the starters package for Market Movers is basically not a good deal. It's the cheapest of all of these things, but it doesn't have access to some of the features that I could see giving Market Movers an advantage over the others. Even the second price tier, even with the kind of more customization in how you can organize data, even at the second price tier though, with only being able to track price changes in 90 days, that feels a little bit like an overpay for, I wish I was getting access to more data. I mean, even at the second tier here, you'd be paying more than you are for Card Ladder or Card Hedge, but only getting 90 days of price changes. So that's really unfortunate, I feel. It's kind of that's kind of the sticking point for me. I like the idea of the data customization a little bit more. I can use my creative thinking. I can use a different combination of filters to try to find specific kinds of cards that might be potential cards to look for and things like that. But if I can only get 90 days worth of data, I feel like it's limiting me. So that's really a sticking point for me at this point so far with Market Movers. Card Ladder, on the other hand, from what I've seen and been able to glean, doesn't have quite as much customization features available for their data searching. I do think they have some. And just for basic finding this card and seeing what's been going on with it, I think they do quite well, but it might be hard to use Card Ladder as a way to analyze and find hidden plays and potential moves that others aren't finding. I'd even say that the way Card Ladder structures its data with what they call their ladder score, which basically uses an algorithm to try to tell you what the best cards are on the market right now based on recent sales, price increases, and volume of sales, it actually does the opposite of what I want a data tool to do. I don't want a data tool to try to be the thing that does the critical thinking for me. It can create almost like kind of a group think, like everybody starts to think about it in that way. I want to be able to do the creative searching through the data to do that critical thinking on my own so that I'm thinking about it in my own way. And Card Ladder doesn't seem to be set up with that kind of purpose in mind. Also, its market cap data thing, where it multiplies the current value of the card by the population of that card, is also something I'm having real trouble wrapping my mind around how that would really help me in making a decision about some choice I'm going to do. It seems to, again, be structured in a way that's trying to make you think about things in a specific way that I don't necessarily want to be thinking about it. So just in general, I kind of wish they would restructure their data in a way where I, as the user, could be figuring out what is important for me instead of them doing things that they think are what I want to know. I don't want the market cap and I don't want the ladder score, but the raw data underneath those would be cool to know if I could choose to seek it out and put it into like a searchable database and filter it into my own ways. That'd be much more useful for me. So I don't like that element of their structure. Card Hedge, from what I have seen of it, doesn't seem to have the same sort of searchable features that Market Movers has, but just for getting basic data on different cards, it seems straightforward. But on the other hand, they also don't seem to have something like the Card Ladder's ladder score or market cap, which I'm really happy about. It looks a little bit more like they're just giving you the data without trying to get you to see it in a specific way like Card Ladder kind of seems to do. So I think I prefer Card Hedge as far as that's concerned. Okay, and now how about the number of cards in the database? This is an important one. The best data tool app in the world is really quite useless if it doesn't track quite a number of cards I want to be knowing something about. Market Movers claims to track 800,000 plus cards and 1,800 plus sealed wax products from eBay, Golden, and MySlabs. Card Ladder claims to track 31,399 cards over 14 different marketplaces, and Card Hedge claims to track 100,000 plus cards. So Market Movers definitely tracks a lot more. The only problem with that is it likely also means it's easier for corrupted data like shield bids, etc., to make its way into the system when there's just so much data. I get the sense that Card Ladder may be doing a bit of a better job at weeding out suspicious sales data, but I'm really quite surprised at how few cards Card Ladder is actually tracking, and I guess that speaks to why it seems to me that I very often cannot find the card I'm looking for when I'm using the free features of Card Ladder. It seems like it's more of a place for getting a general read of some key cards or indexes, like just general movements of certain like categories of cards, but maybe not the best for getting into the trenches for specific individual cards that are less common than the main ones, or the kind of the ones that determine kind of broader movements. So I don't know if it's the greatest for individual cards. Card Hedge seems to be doing a good job of getting a lot of data into their databases as well. I mean, still a lot less than Market Movers at the time, but they are much newer in this space, I believe, and they seem to be making some really good progress over time, so that's good. So with all of this in mind, to be completely honest, I think the limited number of cards Card Ladder tracks, just that information by itself, is enough on its own to stop me from using their paid service. There's just way too many missing cards for me to really use them. I've kind of found that in the free stuff. I've tended, sometimes I'll look up card values in the free app of Market Movers or in the free Card Ladder website, and I'm finding it in Market Movers, and very often, I would say 75% of the time, I'm not finding it in Card Ladder. So I think that by itself is going to keep me away from Card Ladder, even though I do have some other kind of questions about them and stuff, but that by itself, I think, would keep me away, unfortunately. But overall, I think there really are some advantages and disadvantages to each. It seems to me from this that the most expensive of the Market Mover subscription is the best all around, but it's also by far the most expensive. The mid-range Market Movers only tracking 90 days worth of price movement probably almost knocks that one out of the running for me, and I've also mentioned before that the starter package seems barely better than the free stuff, so that's already knocked out. Card Ladder, as I mentioned, is kind of out of the running for me at this point too, just because it lacks so many cards. I mean, it seems to have like a third of even just Card Hedge and way less than Market Movers. So for me, it really seems to boil down to one of three choices. Either the $500 per year Market Mover Unlimited subscription, the $150 per year Card Hedge subscription, or I just keep using 130 point and the free features available on like eBay and different places, and the free features available on Card Ladder and Market Movers, and just keep it free. Now, to be completely honest, I think for now, I'm gonna go with that third option, as I've been using so far. But as I gradually move more and more towards something closer to full-time in sports cards, and I am gradually moving that direction actually, and I do have some plans on the not too distant horizon that eventually I'll share, some larger scale plans. So once I get into something that's closer to full-time, I may step into the market movers realm, maybe that most expensive realm, just because I do see some advantages if you're looking to track a larger number of cards, and if you're looking to really use the tool as kind of in a more complex way, then I do see some advantages to that. But you know, Card Hedge is something I'm going to be keeping in mind here too. I think that it's a, you know, it's a third of the price as the most expensive market movers, and I don't think the other realms of market movers are worth it. I think it's either don't use it or use the most expensive realm. That's what it seems to me. So I'm gonna have to reflect on that. So if I do decide at some point to adopt one of these, you know, to subscribe to one of these things, I'll let you know if I do and why I eventually chose it. This video is kind of, you know, just reflection. I don't know if this helped any of you guys, if you guys have been thinking about using any of these data tools, or if you currently are, why you chose the certain ones you are. Maybe you can share in the comments below. But for now, that's it for this video. Peace.